Welcome to a very informal tutorial on the ribbon spread turnover. This is a really cool sleight of hand to do to make you look like a card shark, but it's actually easier to do than it appears. Now there are a couple different versions I'm going to show you, but before we get started, let me start with what is called the ribbon spread. The ribbon spread takes a knack to do well. But I'm going to show you how to hold the deck and how to do a ribbon spread, because that's very important to do a good ribbon spread to be able to pull this off. And the reason for that, if the cards are spread out unevenly like this, for instance, and you try to do a turnover spread, it's going to break in the middle of your display. And that you don't want. Okay, so here's how you do a good ribbon spread. First of all, you hold the deck of cards with the middle and ring fingers on the outer short edge, the thumb on the inner short edge, and then your pinky can kind of hang out there. Your left pointer finger, or index finger, rides along the left long edge. You hold the deck face down above the table, and by the way, use a close-up pad. If you're not familiar with what that is, it's a felt-covered pad with rubber on the bottom so it doesn't slip too much. And if you have a table with a tablecloth and that's all you have, that's better than nothing. If you use a glass table or a wooden tabletop, anything with a smooth surface, you'll have some problems probably. So anyway, you hold the deck as I described. Oh, and by one other point, I also like to spread from the upper left to the lower right. You could spread from left to right, but you don't have as much distance to work with. An ideal situation would be to have one of those felt-covered poker tables, and you can do a really nice long spread like that. But for the purposes of this tutorial, of course, I have this close-up pad. I'll work from left to right. So you hold the deck like this. You don't fully put the deck on the table just yet. Now, you're going to spread from left to right, and as you do, your forefinger is going to apply pressure on this corner here. And the less you think, the better. So just kind of put pressure, push down nice and firmly, and spread them like that. Okay? That's how you do a ribbon spread. Now, here's how you do the turnover part. The turnover part is easier to do than it looks. However, there's a nice hint here. In order to pick up this left side of the deck to begin, it's a lot easier if you use your left thumb. You press it down here. That gives you an anchor to pick up the cards. Now, simply use your left hand to spread the cards, stop so they can see the beauty of this, and then go back and you catch the cards and you scoop up. Now, please, let me emphasize, don't give in to the temptation of going back and forth and back and forth. That doesn't look professional, and even if you're not a professional magician, you want it to look professional. So the way I recommend doing this is to spread them, stop there, and again go that way. Now, in full speed, it should look like this. Whoop, that was horrible. Full speed, it should look like this. All right? Now, as I said, there's more than one way to do this ribbon spread turnover. It's what you saw me do at the very beginning of the video. Let me give these cards a quick shuffle because they seem to not be spreading well. They're kind of old, So anyway, there's a second way of doing this where you can actually use the bottom card to turn over the cards like that. And everything is identical, except you're not using your left fingers, you're just using that bottom card. So you spread the deck as usual. Your left thumb does the anchor thing. Now the beauty of gravity is that it helps because your fingers, which are naturally moist anyway, will have a good grip on that card without having to do anything too difficult because the gravity pushes down on it. So now what you do is you pull out that card about 3/4 of an inch. You kind of cock it to the left or counterclockwise or almost perpendicular, not quite, and you kind of pivot it up on the edge. Now your left thumb pushes outward toward the audience so that single card kind of looks convex to them, okay? That helps give you control as you spread the cards from left to right and from right to left. Now at the very end, you just do what you did in reverse at the very beginning. You let the deck fall on that card and then you scoop up. At full speed, it should look like this. Again, notice how I hesitate at the point on the right, because you want them to see that really cool pattern. and then you scoop up. Now, there are other ways of doing the turnover spread, and forgive me, I haven't practiced what I'm about to show you, so I may not do it as smoothly as I should, but it's you do a dovetail shuffle. If you know how to do that, you butt the ends of the deck together, and you dovetail the cards, the two halves together. And then you spread out those cards, and then you do the same thing, whoop, and you turn over the deck like that. So that's kind of a, I'm not sure if there's a formal name for that, but it's a dovetail turnover, I'd call it. And then there's even another one. It's really nice to do this. And again, I haven't practiced this for years, so apologies if I don't do it well. But you take the bottom card, and you take the top card. You kind of pull forward a little bit, and then, believe it or not, the deck will split. And then you take over once again. Yeah, I didn't do that too well. I haven't done that really well since I was like 18 or 19 years old. I haven't used it, so I haven't practiced it. So that's another variation. And then there's one other kind of cool spread. It uses kind of the mechanics of what they call a spring fan or a pressure fan. You might have seen the excellent card artist Darwin Ortiz use this one. It's called a horseshoe spread. I'm not sure if that's the formal name, but that's what I've been calling it. Where you take the cards and you actually spread them like a horseshoe spread. It's easier if the close-up pad doesn't slip. Anyway, that's called a horseshoe spread. So there are different things you can do. This horseshoe spread, by the way, is a lot easier to do standing up. But again, you kind of bend the deck to get that spring pressure. I guess some people also do it just by spreading and not applying spring pressure. But I think the spring pressure gives you more control. And it should look something like that. You get a nice round display. Beautiful if you're displaying like a selected card, you know, at the end of a routine or something. So anyway, thank you very much for watching this tutorial. Again, apologies for its informal nature. I do plan to put something a little more formal together, but hopefully, in the meantime, this has been somewhat helpful for you. Thanks again for watching. If you have any questions, write to me, give me a call, send me an email at tom@intervalmagic.com.